Okay, let's unpack this. What if the key to your healing and vitality isn't some distant secret, but a power already flowing through you right now in your very veins? Today we're doing a deep dive into the really intriguing, sometimes challenging teachings of Joseph Murphy. He was, a major figure in New Thought philosophy.
Absolutely. A fascinating thinker.
And his work, especially on the mind-body connection, it offers this truly, revolutionary idea that your blood isn't just physical stuff.
Right.
But what he actually called an obedient messenger, actively listening for your command.
It's a pretty profound concept, isn't it? And it really taps into this mix of, let's say, ancient wisdom and spiritual insight. It often stands in, fascinating contrast to how we usually think about the body today, purely physically.
Yeah.
So our mission really in this deep dive is to explore Murphy's ideas, these revolutionary ideas on how our words, our thoughts directly shape our physical well-being, and specifically how they do it through our bloodstream.
Like a direct line of communication.
Exactly, a direct line to what Murphy saw as your inner kingdom.
What makes Murphy's ideas here so different, I think, is how he fundamentally challenged that traditional split, body separate from mind.
That's the core of it.
He, much like you find in some ancient mystical traditions, didn't just see the mind as the ruler. He believed that speech, especially speech that's fused with real belief, that was the scepter. That's how the ruler commands.
A powerful image.
For a lot of people, though, that probably sounds pretty radical.
How did Murphy suggest we bridge that gap between, our usual understanding and this idea of the mind as the absolute boss?
Well, Murphy's view was that our conscious mind holds the power to shape our reality. And the subconscious mind, acting through the bloodstream, that's the medium, is how it gets done.
Okay.
So he didn't see blood as just, carrying nutrients and waste around. For him, it was the courier of your will.
Courier of your will. I like that. Yeah, it moves constantly, right?
Yeah.
Delivering not just the physical cargo, but also these chemical, these energetic messages. And here's the really key insight from Murphy. You'd say the quality of those messages is shaped directly by the quality of the commands you give, through your words and also the mental pictures you hold.
So, following Murphy's analogy, it's like your bloodstream is a royal messenger.
Yeah.
In some ancient kingdom.
Exactly.
And you, your mind, you're the sovereign issuing decrees. And your blood just carries them out swiftly to every single cell, every outpost.
Precisely. If your decree is strength, health, the kingdom thrives.
But if it's fear, disorder,
then the kingdom falters. It's a really vivid way to get at the immediate impact our thoughts can have.
And he wasn't just speaking metaphorically here.
No, Murphy insisted this wasn't just a metaphor. He saw it as reflecting how your subconscious mind, that, tireless, unquestioning servant inside you, takes your words, especially words spoken with conviction, with emotion. It takes them as literal instructions. It doesn't argue. It doesn't debate the point. It just acts on whatever it receives.
Wow.
And that's where, for Murphy, this spiritual law becomes physically real, manifested.
Okay, to really get this, we need to understand how it works. How did this internal command system actually operate? Murphy talked about the subconscious being like an invisible workshop, right?
That's it. The invisible workshop where all these commands to the body get processed. That's where the, let's say, the science of the spiritual law actually happens, in his view.
Right.
So words spoken with that deep conviction, they get impressed on the subconscious like blueprints.
Blueprints, okay.
And the subconscious, it immediately gets to work translating those blueprints into physical reality. Murphy teaches this affects all the automatic stuff: circulation, digestion, how your tissues repair, your immunity.
All the things we don't consciously control.
Exactly. All without you needing to consciously monitor it. No micromanagement needed. Just clear, consistent instructions.
And the effects, Murphy claimed, are pretty profound. He gave that example. If you keep saying, "I am so tired," day after day, you can actually condition your body into fatigue. But the flip side is saying something like, "I am renewed with every breath." That can actually reprogram it for vitality over time.
It really makes you think about those casual things we say, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally. Like when I just automatically say, "Ooh, my back is killing me," Murphy would say, "I'm basically giving an order."
Precisely. You're issuing a command. Murphy called this an ancient law, something woven into the very fabric of creation. He called it the law of inner command.
Not just positive thinking, then.
No, he was very clear on that. It wasn't superstition. It wasn't just positive thinking. For him, it was the operation of a spiritual law through the subconscious mind, and he believed it was as precise, as dependable as the sun coming up. He'd often point to scriptural examples, like Jesus speaking to the withered hand or commanding the storm and seeing immediate obedience. He saw that as evidence of this deep connection that maybe humanity has largely forgotten.
That really shifts the perspective on responsibility, doesn't it?
Hugely.
We're not just passengers or victims of whatever our body decides to do. Murphy kind of casts us as the governors of our own bodies,
Yeah.
issuing orders that will be obeyed, whether they're good orders or not so good.
Right, and here's the real kicker.
Yeah.
His work suggests we've been using this law the whole time, often without even realizing it, issuing these commands of disorder and decline, with just our casual remarks, our inner chatter about our health.
But the good news, according to Murphy, is we can consciously change those commands.
That's the hope, yes. You can choose differently.
So when Murphy talks about divine order, what does he actually mean? Is it just feeling generally well?
It's more specific than that. At its core, he describes divine order as the inherent, perfect blueprint for your body's best health and function. It's a state of wellness that's already kind of encoded within your subconscious, woven into your being.
So it's not something you have to invent.
Exactly. It's something to reconnect with, to restore.
He used some great analogies for this, didn't he? Like the master architect with the original plans.
Yes, or the great city illuminated by lights with a central control room. The idea is, when you speak to your blood, you're not just tossing random wishes out there.
You're giving specific instructions.
Precise instructions to a builder who already has the blueprints for your perfect health. And that's why, in Murphy's view, vague statements like, "I hope I feel better," are less effective than clear commands aligned with that existing design.
Like saying, what was the example? Every drop of my blood flows in perfect harmony with divine order.
Exactly. Specific. Aligned.
Okay, but that raises a big question. If this divine order is our natural state, why do things go wrong? Why does the body fall out of it?
Yeah, good question. Murphy explained it as the result of what he called the slow accumulation of mental impressions. These impressions distort the instructions coming from the mind.
What kind of impressions?
He pointed to key culprits. Fear was a big one. He believed it floods the blood with stress hormones, constricts vessels. Resentment, bitterness, those send a constant message of tension, imbalance.
On negative self-talk.
Absolutely. Things like constantly saying, "I have terrible circulation," or "my body just doesn't heal well," those become commands.
And the subconscious just takes them. It doesn't filter them.
According to Murphy, it does not have the capacity to reject these commands. It faithfully executes them. It doesn't reason like the conscious mind.
So in a way, we can be our own, unknowingly, our
That's-
own saboteurs.
That's what Murphy suggests. But, and this is the crucial part, the moment you recognize this law is operating,
You can change the orders.
you can start giving life-giving orders instead. And your body, faithful to its design, will obey.
Okay, this sounds incredibly empowering, but also maybe a bit daunting, like a huge responsibility.
It is, in a way.
So if our words have that much power, how do we actually do it? How do we speak to our blood effectively, according to Murphy?
Right, the practical side. To speak effectively, Murphy taught you first need to prepare yourself to give a command that's going to be heard and obeyed.
Okay.
He outlined 3 sort of foundational conditions. First is posture. Sit or stand with dignity and openness. It signals to your inner world that something important is happening.
Like you mean business.
Kind of, yeah. Second, breath. Slow, deep breaths. Release doubt, release distraction with each exhale. Quiet the conscious mind's chatter.
It's centered.
Exactly. And third, mental focus. You need to clear the channel so your words reach their destination without interference.
Makes sense. So once you're prepared, what about the words themselves? What's the language of faith-filled command, as Murphy put it?
Okay, key elements here. First, speak in the present tense. You're issuing a decree now, not asking for something later.
So my blood is pure, not will be.
Precisely. My blood is pure, vital, and flowing in divine order now. Second, infuse your words with gratitude. Murphy actually encourages speaking as though you are thanking your blood for a job already completed.
Why gratitude?
For him, gratitude is a powerful form of faith. It signals acceptance, belief that it's already happening. Third, and this is really key in Murphy's work, emotion.
Emotion.
Yes. Emotion, he taught, is the bridge between your words and the obedience of your blood. He used the analogy of heat that melts sealing wax.
Okay.
One heartfelt declaration is way more potent than saying it 100 times without feeling. And finally, visualization. Imagine your words as, say, currents of light entering your bloodstream, making it
Right.
brighter, freer, full of energy.
It's fascinating how he applies this to specific body functions. Could you give us some examples of that, like for circulation?
Absolutely. For circulation, Murphy would advise bringing your awareness to your pulse, maybe feeling it in your wrist or neck. Then speak something like, my blood flows in perfect harmony, carrying life to every part of me.
You could even time it with your pulse.
Yes, sync the words with your heartbeat. For instance, every drop of blood flows smoothly to my hands and feet, bringing warmth and life. Real specific.
Okay. What about purification?
For purification, visualize your blood like a river of light, maybe a shimmering golden current, carrying away anything that doesn't belong, and declare, every drop of my blood is cleansed, purified, and renewed in divine order now. Again, present tense, with conviction.
And the immune system.
For strengthening the immune system, he suggested cultivating gratitude for your tireless defenders. Visualize your blood glowing with radiant light, affirming, my immune system is strong, wise, and perfectly directed. He often connected this to biblical verses like Romans 8:11 about activating a divine life force within you.
To really make these stick, Murphy recommended daily practices, right? What did those look like?
Yeah, building it into a routine. He suggested several things. One idea was a 7-day blood blessing challenge.
Okay, what's that?
It's basically a focused period, maybe a week, where you commit to specific affirmations morning and night, like, my blood flows pure, strong, when you wake up, and my blood rests in divine peace before sleep.
And during that week?
You'd consciously try to guard your casual conversation, avoid complaining about aches and pains, and maybe even journal any subtle changes you notice.
Interesting. What else?
There's the night command ritual, doing this just before you fall asleep when the mind is really receptive. You speak softly, something like, my blood rests in perfect peace tonight. Setting the intention, the blueprint for nighttime repair.
And in the morning?
The morning vitality command. Those first moments after waking are powerful, affirming, today my blood moves with strength, life, and joy. Maybe visualizing golden light, vitality, filling your whole body.
It's one thing to know this, but it's natural to hit roadblocks, right? Like doubt creeping in or just falling back into old habits of negative self-talk. What did Murphy say about that?
He definitely addressed those. For doubt and skepticism, he didn't see them as failures. More like conditioning, old programming.
So what do you?
He suggested using bridge affirmations instead of trying to force yourself to believe something that feels like a huge leap.
Like, I am perfectly healthy when you feel awful.
Exactly. Try something like, every day my blood responds more perfectly to divine order. It's softer, it allows the subconscious to accept it more easily without putting up resistance. And he stressed celebrating the small shifts, the little improvements, to build your faith.
Okay, that makes sense. And negative self-talk. We all do it.
The key there, he said, is speed. Interrupt it immediately. The moment you catch yourself thinking or saying something negative about your body,
Cut it off.
right, mentally or even out loud say, stop, that's not my truth is. And then immediately replace it with a positive declaration. My body is strong, my blood is pure, and divine order is at work in me now. Or whatever resonates. You're sending a clear countercommand to your subconscious.
What's really compelling here is how these teachings seem to broaden out. They go beyond just these individual commands and connect us to, well, wider principles of well-being. It's like a whole interconnected system.
It really is. If we expand on that, Murphy taught that since the blood is the universal courier,
Right.
you can actually send specialized instructions to specific organs, your heart, your brain, your liver, even your skin. You do it through targeted affirmations and visualizations, knowing the blood will deliver the message.
Wow.
You could even do a kind of circulatory visualization where you imagine yourself as a tiny blood cell traveling through your body, consciously blessing each organ and limb as you pass. That combines the imagery and the language powerfully for the subconscious.
That's a cool technique. What else connects?
Another huge one for Murphy was forgiveness. He saw it not just as, a moral good, but as a physiological necessity.
No.
He argued that resentment, bitterness, grudges, they act like debris and blockages in the system, physically constricting blood flow, creating tension.
So forgiveness isn't just mental, it's physical.
Yes. Forgiveness, maybe using an affirmation like, I freely forgive and bless everyone, and I am blessed, sends a signal of harmony through the bloodstream. He believed this could positively impact things like sleep, blood pressure, even your overall mood. He often pointed to that verse in Romans, bless and do not curse, as a practical health guideline.
And Murphy also talked about aligning with a bigger flow, right? The flow of life itself.
Exactly. He believed our personal bloodstream is part of a much larger universal river of divine energy. By affirming this connection, he taught, you remove some conscious barriers that make you feel isolated or depleted. You open yourself up to, well, inexhaustible energy. You're not trying to generate it all yourself. You're tapping into a limitless source.
That's a powerful idea.
And crucially, Murphy stressed that your public and private body talk have to align. What you say out loud, your private affirmations, and that constant silent inner dialogue.
They all need to be singing from the same song sheet.
Precisely. Conflicting messages, he warned, just lead to mixed results. You have to cultivate awareness and really discipline that inner voice, because your subconscious takes every statement as a literal command. He even touched on group healing, like in Matthew 18, where two or more agree, suggesting that shared intention can magnify this power, creating reciprocal blessings.
This all seems to lead towards what Murphy called the life reordered. What does that actually look like?
That's the state where divine order isn't something you're constantly striving for, but it becomes your living reality. It's flowing naturally through you.
So not just being symptom-free.
No, much more than that. It's a new level of vitality, an effortless kind of mastery over your well-being. You've shifted from constantly trying to install health to simply maintaining it. Your blood, in this reordered state, doesn't need constant reminders of the command anymore. It's accepted the new pattern. It's just following its permanent marching orders.
A state where health just flows from you naturally.
Like a river to the sea, as he might say.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway here? It feels like the really profound revelation from Joseph Murphy is that our words, they aren't just sounds we make.
Not at all.
They're powerful, creative commands, talking to an intelligent, responsive system right inside us. We are, in his view, the captains of our inner kingdom.
And our blood is that loyal messenger.
Exactly.
That's quite a realization.
It is. And to help distill these teachings into something you can use every day, Murphy provided some really powerful affirmations. We've already put together a full blood affirmation loop based on his work that you can integrate into your life. You'll find the whole text in our show notes.
Oh, great.
But just to give you a feel for its power, think about lines like these. My word is creative power. My body obeys the law of divine order. My blood listens and responds now.
Powerful.
Or, every drop of my blood flows pure, strong, and free. Every cell is nourished and renewed in perfect harmony. We really encourage you to explore this, maybe integrate that practice. When you start to truly live with that awareness that, as Murphy taught, your blood will obey your word. Well, you naturally begin to speak differently, with more care, maybe more love, more reverence for the creative power you hold.
So just consider this, the profound responsibility, but also the incredible liberation that comes with knowing your blood will obey. What new command will you issue to your inner kingdom today? And just how might that start to reshape your future?